Nigel Bradham Report brought to you by Ernest & Son Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. 2 great locations. Bringing teen inside the Exchange in Linwood. Let them cater your next big event. Visit earnestson.com. PhillySportsTrips.com, dedicated to providing premium travel tailgating experiences to the passionate fans of Philadelphia. TheResidenceDE.com. Call them today to learn about their new phase of inventory pre-construction buyer incentives at the Mid-Atlantic's premier vacation destination. Visit TheResidenceDE.com. And Goodwill's quality used cars located on Delsey Drive, High Street in Glassboro. Stop by yourself and see how different your total automotive experience can be. Visit GoodwillsOnline.com. And we welcome in the starting linebacker of the Philadelphia Eagles, Nigel Bradham. Nigel, how are you, friend?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and again, big game, big win for you guys. Another defensive effort. I'll tell you this flat out: you played like a man possessed the other day against Carolina. That is probably the best I've seen you play in a long time. And we knew you were a good linebacker, but I was impressed with the fact that you were able to drop back in coverage. If you were to kind of grade your performance against Carolina, you have to be really pleased with your efforts.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I felt like it was a great game for me, a great game for the linebacking core in general. I mean, I felt like the linebackers really stepped up and showed our talents that game. I felt like we wanted to go out there and make a statement. We felt like that was a team that was going to challenge us, and we just stood up for the challenge, and we was ready to compete.
You guys are starting to become a little nasty back there. I mean, you had 10 tackles. Kendricks had 17 tackles. The secondary got involved. Are you starting to take defensively? Is this unit starting to take on the personality of the coordinator and Jim Schwartz?
Yeah, and that's for sure. We definitely took on his personality of being aggressive and coming with a tenacity of how we want to attack and what teams to see on film. We want teams to know coming into that week when they play us that it's going to be a physical game, and they're going to have to come ready to play. And that's what we want people to see. We just want to get our respect as a defense.
I remember when we were talking about this game, previewing a little bit, we talked about McCaffrey, we talked about Cam Newton with that read option and when to have that gap discipline and when to see when he's going to start to run around the pocket. And I go back to the play where he broke the pocket and you guys met at the goal line. That was a heck of a play. It shows the athleticism of you and it showed the athleticism of Cam Newton.
Yeah, it was pretty much just more so being in the scheme of what we want to do. I didn't want to give it away. I knew I was going to be in coverage a little bit on McCaffrey, and just didn't want to give away the game plan, but not as though, I knew I was going to be up for that challenge. Throughout my career, man, I had some great guys that I had to compete against, from Shady McCoy to C.J. Spiller,
yep.
Some of every type of style of back, Fred Jackson, like from times when I was in Buffalo, we used to always have great running backs. So that was the main thing for me. Pretty much just staying focused and being ready for that challenge.
How about when you get back a player in Fletcher Cox, or right away he just disrupted that pocket and the pocket collapsed and really made life miserable for Newton? I mean, you flush him out of the pocket a little bit, you get him thrown off his back foot, you're going to get a couple picks. You guys probably should have had 5 interceptions in that game, by the way.
Yeah, we definitely left some opportunities out there. I definitely felt like I had left one, especially at the end of the game when he tried to throw that slant route.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely left some opportunities out there. We got to capitalize on that, man. But that's the thing. We were going to get back to the drawing board so we can capitalize on those type of plays because, I mean, you take that from a close game into a blowout type. And, I mean, when we play against great teams in certain situations, we got to be able to make those plays.
Well, it's something you mentioned, too, and you referenced the last couple of weeks, right? Not giving up those leads, not giving up a ton of points in the fourth quarter. You gave up that touchdown in the fourth quarter against Carolina, but the last several weeks we saw that the defense started to clamp down, especially against Arizona late as well. And it seems as though when guys are starting to come back from injuries and guys are starting to step up, it might be a repetitive question, but you guys have won 4 in a row, you're 5-1. In that locker room, do you start to get the sense that something special is going on here?
Well, honestly, I felt like we came into this year knowing that we had the capability of being something special. I mean, the whole offseason, we knew what type of talent we had. We knew what we did last year with the team we had last year. We felt like we improved this offseason. as a team, and that was our main focus. I mean, honestly, we still aren't satisfied, man. We're not even like this. It's 5-1, yeah, it's great, but that's not where it's gonna finish at. We're still motivated, and we're just trying to get a win each week.
Again, talking with Eagles starting linebacker Nigel Bradham, we'll take you up to 2. Rich Quinones here. The NFL, we saw yesterday, right? It's a week-to-week proposition. You got Miami going in Atlanta. You got the Giants that were left for dead going on the road with nobody. They beat Denver. And then you see a quarterback and Rodgers goes down for Green Bay. And you never want to see marquee players go down, right? Beckham, Watt, Rodgers. But let's be honest here, Nigel. You would not be human if you guys kind of started to look around and said, you know what, there's some flawed teams out there, and there's some opportunities where this conference is kind of open.
Oh, it's for sure wide open, and that's why I feel like we're not satisfied, because we know it's still wide open. It's a long season, and what we got to do is just focus on us. I mean, yeah, we see all of that, and it's good to see it and all of that. Sometimes, you don't want guys to get hurt, but it helps us as a team, for sure. But, I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of still got to focus on yourself, because you get caught up in stuff like that and you can lose your focus on one of the teams you're getting ready to play for. I mean, I felt like it kind of happened with the Broncos last night.
They didn't show up. They didn't show up.
Right.
But you know what? Give the Giants credit here, because they can't run the football, and they dominated that line of scrimmage.
They did, which was surprising with the Broncos D-line.
Do you think that's an issue where, and again, I know you're not concerned about the Broncos, but is that one of your classic, I don't want to say you take advantage of you have a letdown, maybe you're looking ahead. I don't believe in that notion in the NFL. I don't believe in trap games, but is there a part where sometimes teams and players do look ahead a little bit on that schedule?
I mean, I think it's more so you might, like, for us, I felt like we kind of looked ahead knowing that we had a short week.
Yeah.
So I think in situations like that's when you possibly can do that. And just regular wise, like just going from week to week, I feel like you don't need to. I feel like a week is enough time for you to prepare for each team. So I feel like you don't need to look ahead, I'm curious, did you see the hit on Rodgers? Did you see the highlights at all? Yeah.
I don't think it's a dirty hit. I think you can argue if there's intent to knock out the quarterback. Let's be honest. Defensive players, what do you guys want to do? You want to knock the quarterback out. You want to get him out of the game. But it's hard sometimes, because do you let up? Do you not let up? They got to protect the faces of the franchise in the NFL. That's just a tough spot for the Packers yesterday.
I mean, yeah, it is. And as a defender, man, it's a tough spot to be in. I mean, you don't want to be labeled as a player at the end of the day. And then on top of that, I mean, you want to play the game how it's supposed to be played. You want to play legally, but physical at the same time. So it's like one of those thin line type things. You can be right in between. Some people might say, that was a dirty hit, and some people might be like, oh, well, that was a good hit. I mean, that's how you're supposed to tackle, So it's kind of one of those 50-50 things on that situation about the dirty hits or not, or how you hit a person, or how you should hit a quarterback. So I feel like it's more so based on opinion.
Of course it is. It is.
It's like blatantly.
Well, if you're a Green Bay Packers fan today, you're saying to yourself it's a dirty hit. If you're a Vikings fan, you're saying to yourself, hey, you knocked the quarterback out of the game. And the reality is it changes the complexion of the NFC. It really does.
It does. It does.
What I'm curious. Go back to the defensive side of the ball for a minute. What do you make of Kendricks thus far this year? We talked a little bit about him a month ago, and I'll tell you, for a guy that seemed like he wanted to get out of here, and it seemed as though every other week it was trade this, trade that. He's played well. He really has. I mean, what have you seen? Where's the difference in Kendricks this year? What have you noticed?
I really believe it's more so just understanding his role. And knowing what he can do and his role on his team. And I think he took that and excelled at it and like really just took that role and made it into what he is. And he got so much comfortable and confidence in him with this system. I mean, last year was his first year of learning.
Yep.
So this year he's a lot more comfortable. So he's able to show his athleticism his skills, on the edge, and skills in coverage, his skills to be able to blitz. I mean, because he's one of the best athletes I've ever seen, honestly. Just all around with the things he could do and everything like that on the football field. So, because he's unbelievable talent, man. So I think that's the biggest thing, that from this year and last year, he's understood his role and he's accepted it, and he's expanded it into a way where he's excelled and just been successful.
It helps when you get reps, though, right? I mean, you start to get into rhythm. I mean, that's always important. And we're seeing it on the offensive ball, too, right? When you look at a player like Nelson, and all of a sudden, it's amazing what a couple catches and a couple touchdowns can do for your confidence going forward. It seems as though it becomes a lot easier for you.
Yeah, it does. And I think that was the main thing for him, just getting that growth and growing as a player and learning the defense and just getting that confidence.
Before I let you get out of here, you guys opened up the season against the Redskins. You were able to get a couple of those road games under your belt. Now you have a nice little stretch where you guys are going to go home again. You already saw Washington first time around. Listen, they had a gritty performance and a gutty performance yesterday against San Francisco, but this is also a team that's a play or two away from, their record, having a couple more losses or a couple more wins here and there. So, going in that Cousins loves to throw the ball. They don't have the weapons that they had last year, but they've got the tight end. They got Pryor. I'll tell you who's an X factor, and I'm sure without giving the game plan away, you'll have to notice this, is Chris Thompson. This kid catches the ball out of the backfield. He's a good scat back, a good third down back. What's your thoughts on the game coming up against Washington? That's a big NFC East game for you guys.
It's a huge game, man. It really is going to set what our division will look like. So we definitely would take this game. It's pretty much like a championship game for us. But yeah, Chris Thompson, man, I actually know the guy really well. Played against him in high school. We're from the same area, and we went to the same college.
You guys are both Florida guys. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's fitting in that scheme real nice.
Yeah, I pretty much grew up with Chris, man. It's crazy. Like, been playing against him since middle school, man.
Really?
But it's amazing to see. Yeah.
Well, not come Monday.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I know.
Player, being from the small town that we both are from, it's good to see him excel and have so much success. You just love to see that out of guys that because it's so rare.
He's a good kid. He's a good kid. And listen, he's a guy that offense, when you think about it, they can get him 15 to 20 touches a game, kind of like McCaffrey. I'll leave you with this. Do you find that some of these running backs now and some of these offenses a little more diminutive, but they're asked to do so much more, right? And defensively, the wheel routes, pick up the blitz, run the ball, catch the ball out of the flat. They're really asked to do a lot.
Yeah, and it puts a lot more on the linebackers because we're the one who got to take control of those guys and be able to cover them. So it does. They're pretty much like another receiver now. They're pretty much using, like you see, they use McCaffrey in the slot a lot. Like, they split Chris Thompson out a lot as well with the Redskins.
He was a beast yesterday. Wide. He was a beast.
Right. So it's one of those type of things, man. Where these backs it's like a trend going where everybody's getting back into it, and the running back becoming an important part of teams' offense.
I got about 30 seconds before I let you get out of here. You guys know you're familiar with Kirk Cousins. You give him time to throw, he can pick apart secondaries. But if you start to collapse that pocket and make him uncomfortable, he'll make that throw. He'll throw it up. You look at that first game, the mistakes weren't there. He's played relatively well against you guys over the last several years. But you think the way this defense is playing now, with Fletcher at full strength, that pocket collapses, you'll be able to force some turnovers, or at least that's the game plan going in Monday night?
That's always the game plan. And for sure, we definitely have to stop the run. We can't let them have that asset as well. So we got to be able to eliminate the run game from the get-go. We can't let Kelly and be running all over us. It's gonna be a great game, man. But it's gonna be. I'm getting excited already.
Well,
I'm thinking about how it's gonna be going.
Well, you got to finish. You got to finish spending some time with the kids before you start to get your game face on, right? Then you can get nasty on Monday night. Would you say the linebackers are becoming nasty?
Yo, we've been nasty. He was just we probably putting the league more on notice about it, but we definitely been nasty.
All right. Well, listen, you're playing really well. You guys are playing well, and best of luck against the Skins on Monday. We'll talk on Tuesday. Always appreciate a couple moments, pal. Be good.
No problem, man. Appreciate you having me.